Breaking. Fans coach to Reece Walsh, breaking silence after sentenced. What if the boy who runs like lightning, who carries the hopes of two nations on his shoulders, finally learns that true speed isn't in evasion, but in owning the storm you create? Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane, October 5th, 2025. The grand final sun dips low, casting long shadows across a cauldron of 52,000 souls draped in maroon and blue. The Broncos trail the storm by 8 at halftime, desperation clawing at every tackle. Then, in the 20th minute of chaos, a swirling break by Xavier Coates, Adam Reynolds diving desperately, Reece Walsh arrives late, shoulder first, into the winger's temple. The crowd gasps as Coates crumples, blood threading down his cheek. The siren wails. Sin bin. The footage replays on the big screen. Careless, high, undeniable. Please like, share, and subscribe for more Sport Talk content. The Judiciary convenes at dawn the next day, the air thick with the weight of a season's end. Grade 1, careless high tackle. Early guilty plea, $3,000 fine, no ban. Fight it and risk 2 matches, enough to sideline him into next season, robbing the Kangaroos' Ashes campaign of its spark. Reece sits in the Broncos' war room, phone clutched like a lifeline, his coach Billy Slater's voice steady on speaker. "You've got my back, kid, but this one's yours to carry." The room falls silent as Reece nods to the screen. No contest. Sentence served, the fine, the shame, the endless scroll of slow-motion replays. But the real trial begins outside those doors. Social media ignites like dry tinder. Ban Walsh now surges past 1 million posts. Storm fans flood timelines with Coates' dazed eyes, captions screaming, "Cowards shot from a superstar." Pundits pile on. Andrew Johns calls it the shot that stains a dynasty, while Matt Rogers mutters on air, "Lightning's finally struck the wrong way." In Melbourne, cafes, barbershops, and backyards, the verdict lands like a second blow. Too soft, too soon, too Queensland. Reece breaks his silence not in a press conference, but in a dimly lit Broncos gym at 5 a.m. Camera phone propped on a dumbbell rack. His eyes, usually electric, are shadowed, voice raw from a night without sleep. "I let down my team, my family, every kid who looks at me like I'm untouchable. That wasn't lightning, that was reckless. I own it, all of it." The video hits 500,000 views in an hour, not for absolution, but for the crack in the armor. A 23-year-old admitting his speed can't outrun regret. Billy Slater, the man who molded him from Indigenous All-Stars prodigy to Maroons immortal, gathers the squad that afternoon. No whiteboard diagrams, no film review, just stories. Of his own 2006 sin bin that cost a test series, of the fines that funded quiet apologies to elders back home. Reece isn't defined by one shoulder, Slater says, hand on his shoulder. He's defined by what he builds from the rubble. "We've got your back, but you've got to lead us through this." The room erupts, not in cheers, but in the quiet nod of brothers who know the weight of green and gold. The fans, those 48,000 who chanted his name like a heartbeat, fracture in the aftermath. Brisbane bars buzz with defense. It was chaos. Coates dropped into it. But in PNG villages, where Reece's mother's blood runs deep, aunties whisper over cow pots, "Our boy needs to bow lower next time, show the hurt." A mural in Redcliffe, half finished, adds thorns to his lightning bolt tattoo. Petitions for a harsher penalty hit 20,000 signatures by dusk, then stall as a single tweet from Xavier Coates shifts the blade. "Get well, Reece. See you on the field. Have respect the game." Deeper still, the incident unearths rugby league's fragile underbelly. The cult of the untouchable star, the fines that sting wallets but not souls. Reece, with his PNG heritage woven into every sprint, becomes a mirror for a sport grappling with its identity. Is he the flashy import from the Broncos' golden era, or the son of the soil who must atone twice as hard? Historical echoes ripple. Joey John's 1990s bans for fire, Andrew Fafita's fines that fueled family feuds, reminding us that no jersey shields you from the court of public memory. Yet in the quiet hours, as the headlines fade to embers, Reece visits a Brisbane hospital unannounced. Not for photo ops, but for the kid in the next bed, a young Storm fan with a scarred cheek from a bike crash who saw the tackle and asked his mum, "Does it hurt that bad like Reece?" He sits for 2 hours, signing jerseys, sharing stories of the first time he cried after a game. Not from loss, but from joy. "Pain's part of the run," he tells the boy, "but owning it, that's what makes you fast forever." This moment, raw and unscripted, peels back the myth of invincibility. Sports isn't a highlight reel of triumphs. It's the stutter step after the sin bin, the fine that funds a family's groceries, the coach's hand that steadies a shaking fist. Reece Walsh, sentenced to reflection, emerges not broken, but burnished, reminding us that true champions don't dodge the mirror. They stare until it stares back with forgiveness. In the Broncos' next training, under a sky bruised purple, Billy Slater pulls Reece aside. No lecture, just a shared glance at the horizon. The silence after the sentence? That's where legends are forged, son. Reece nods, laces tightening, and sprints into the drill. Not faster, but fuller, the weight of $3,000 transforming into fuel for the fire ahead. Xavier Coates, from his recovery bed in Melbourne, texts him at midnight. Find us both, eh? Heals quicker than you think? Run clean next time. Reece replies with a photo of his fine check, framed beside his debut jersey. Fuel for the family. Owe you one, brother. Humility, not in words, but in the quiet pivot from prodigy to peer. Slater, in a rare vulnerability to the media scrum, lets his voice crack just once. Reece didn't just pay a fine, he paid with his heart on display. That's the indigenous way. Face the elders, own the wrong, rise with the dawn. We've sentenced him to greatness, and he's serving it with every breath. The fans, those fractured faithful, begin to mend. A viral edit circulates, the tackle in slow motion, fading to Reece's apology video, ending with Coates' text. Comments flood, from fury to family. In Port Moresby markets, vendors hawk Lightning Learns tees, proceeds to youth tackling clinics. The petition signatures reverse, now pleas for mercy, signatures in solidarity. Reflection settles like dust after a storm. This isn't about a $3,000 fine or a dodged ban. It's about the boy who outran poverty, prejudice, and now his own shadow. Rugby League, with its brutal poetry, teaches that sentences aren't endpoints. They're ellipses, leading to the redemption arc only the humble write. Reece Walsh's silence wasn't absence, it was gestation. In those hours, he journaled letters to his mum in PNG. The shoulder that flew too high? It'll ground me now. For you. For us. Growth, not in grand gestures, but in the private unraveling of pride. Billy Slater, ever the quiet architect, shares a post-event huddle memory. He looked me in the eye and said, "Coach, I thought I was protecting the team. Now I see protecting them means protecting the game first." That's perspective forged in fire, humility that humbles us all. The legacy of this breaking point? A sport that evolves not through bans, but through breakthroughs. Reece Walsh, once the untamed spark, now the steady flame, proving that the loudest silences echo longest in the halls of heroes. Beyond the fine, beyond the fury, this is heritage reclaimed. A young man from two worlds